Hello and welcome to the CottageCutz YouTube channel. My name is Lynn, or LV Handcrafted here on YouTube, and today I am crafting from a couple of dies from the Spring Easter release. And even though these dies are technically Easter themed, the lovely thing about the CottageCutz dies is that all of the components are separate and individual. So the items that are a little bit more thematic and part of a specific or geared towards a specific holiday or occasion, you can choose whether or not you want to use them. And at the end of the day, these two die sets I think are pretty fabulous. They feature cars, which are adorable, and I love that between the two of them, you have cars in different perspectives. So you've got one that is side facing, that's the one that I'm using today, and that comes from Spring Bunny Car. And then you have the car that is front facing as if it's driving towards us, and that one is Spring Party Car. And they both have elements that are a little bit more geared towards Easter. So, for example, the Easter eggs that are piled up in the back of the car. On Spring Bunny Car, there's the big carrot on top, which I guess you would just more associate with the bunny, maybe not specifically Easter. And of course, the bunny itself can be very Easter as well. I am going to use the bunnies, and in fact, I'm going to use both bunnies, and they will both be passengers in my car here. The car is really easy to assemble. A great way to see how and where everything goes is to keep the packaging kind of right there next to you as you're putting it together, because you can always refer back to the packaging to see where all of these elements get attached. But what I'm going to do is the bunny that is in that front-facing car from Spring Party Car, that one's the gray bunny, and that bunny is a little bit larger than the bunny from the other car, which I've die cut out of a cream color cardstock. And what I'm gonna do is position the gray bunny so that he's hanging his head outside the window. And so that's going to clearly suggest that he's on the side of the car that's closest to us, the viewer. And if you're in the US, then the driver's side is going to be on the side of the car that's furthest away from us. So I'm hoping that by really making the distance, or trying to kind of give the suggestion that of where the bunnies are seated, that it helps your head kind of rationalize why one bunny is so much bigger than the other bunny. And today's card is actually going to be an infinity shaker. If you've never actually made one for yourself, it's really easy. My card today is going to be USA 2 in size, so it measures 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. I've cut this piece of acetate. This is thin acetate, and it's 1 inch wider and 1 inch taller. And along all 4 edges, I scored at 1/2 inch. And on all 4 corners, I'm going to miter the corner. So I'm going to cut a triangle off from that corner, aiming for the bottom of my triangle to just meet up with where those two score lines intersect. And the reason to do that is so that we remove excess acetate from that corner, and when you fold and burnish as I'm doing now, you will have less bulk, less overlap in those corners, and everything will fold down neatly. And that's it. So the one thing I will mention though is be careful as you're burnishing, especially if you're not burnishing with a tool, if you're just using your hand, because this is plastic, and and you just want to be careful not to cut your finger, rubbing your hand across that plastic edge. So I would definitely suggest burnishing with a tool if you don't have a bone folder or an ergonomic bone folder like the one that I have. Just use anything else, even the barrel of a pen or something, just to burnish that edge down. And all I do is then put some double-sided acetate on this pattern paper panel that I've cut to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And I've attached my glue tabs of the acetate along 3 edges, the 2 sides and the bottom. And that leaves the top open so that you can just fill with whatever shaker mix you want to use. This is such a fun way and easy way of creating a shaker card. You get all of that room for your shaker bits to move about in. And if you're like me and you're kind of creating a custom shaker mix, you can just keep adding to it. And if you don't like it, you can always pour it all out and try again. But it's really, really convenient and easy to make one of these. And when you are done, just close off that 4th edge, and that's it. Then all you have to do is glue this entire piece to your card front. One thing to bear in mind is that because there is some thickness to the acetate, this shaker panel, it does end up being just like a smidge larger than your card front. So if that bugs you, you can try to figure out how to make it exactly the same size. But I'm not bothered by that at all. At least I prefer that it be bigger than my card front than smaller, because at least then it covers the entire card front. And you do want to try to burnish really well, and I like to use a little bit of liquid adhesive in the center too, in order to really make sure it's firmly stuck down to the card base. Now's a good time to mention that if you caught my last video, CottageCutz was offering a giveaway in that video, so if you want to see if you are the winner, do check the description box below, and you'll see also instructions for how you can claim your prize. There will be no giveaway on this video because this will actually be my last video for CottageCutz. My year as a design team member has come to an end. It's been really a fantastic honor and a pleasure to craft with CottageCutz, share my makes with you here on this channel. And so I am definitely sad, but all good things must come to an end. And I hope that you've enjoyed my videos. I will definitely continue to craft with CottageCutz because I'm a huge fan, and so you'll see those videos on my channel from time to time, and I'm sure it's always really nice to see different designers who all have different perspectives and different styles join the channel, join the team, and give you different takes on how they use CottageCutz dyes. So I'm looking forward to the new team members who will be joining the video team, and I'll be looking for inspiration from them. So to finish up my card here, what I've done is taken the balloons from one of the die sets. This is the die set that the gray bunny came from, and I've attached them all with a bit of embroidery floss and then tied a knot to the end of that so that I can basically just kind of use those balloons as one element because they're all kind of stuck together. And the idea is that the gray bunny is going to be holding the balloons as he kind of, and that's sort of maybe why he thinks he needs to stick his head outside the window, because the balloons can't fit in the car. So he's going to hang on to them and hang his head outside the window too. So I thought this would be a really fun birthday card because when I see balloons, I think birthday balloons. And so I've taken the happy birthday word die set with the bubble layer or the shadow layer, and having that shadow layer is really fantastic because my background is a little bit busy. It's got the polka dots, it's got the colors of the sequins and all the movement from the sequins. So it definitely helps to have the shadow layer so that the words themselves stand off of that background, that busy background, and hopefully it helps to make it more prominent and more legible. So now I can sort of just glue everything down. I do like to use a liquid adhesive, and if you are using a liquid adhesive and a little bit sort of spreads out onto your acetate, you can always clean that up with just a little bit of isopropyl alcohol or nail polish remover. Just be very careful, but you should be able to wipe off any glue residue. So here's a final look at my shaker card. You can see because that shaker pocket is so large, the bits are easy to move around, and it's just a fun, different kind of card with Easter themed dies. I hope that you enjoyed this video today. Until next time, happy crafting and have a fabulous day. Bye!